Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. So, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring came out in 2001, was directed by Peter Jackson, and this is based on the novel of the same name by J.R.R. Tolkien. And obviously J.R.R. Tolkien, he wrote 3 Lord of the Rings novels, so is this one, followed by The Two Towers and Return of the King. So it was a trilogy of books, and then this trilogy of books was later made into this trilogy of films directed by Peter Jackson. And this is the very first one. So this story is about the One Ring, which is this powerful object, and we have this character called the Dark Lord Sauron who is seeking this One Ring. This One Ring ends up falling into the hands of a hobbit named Frodo Baggins, and he has to set out to Mordor, to Mount Doom, which is a place and the only place where the One Ring can be destroyed. So the story focuses on quite a few different characters. We get Frodo and 8 other characters who form a group known as the Fellowship of the Ring, who set off in order to destroy this ring. So this film was an excellent cast. We have Elijah Wood as Frodo Baggins, Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Wizard. We get Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn, John Rhys-Davies as Gimli, Sean Astin as Samwise Gamgee, Orlando Bloom as Legolas. The list goes on and on really in this film. We also do get an excellent performance from Christopher Lee as Saruman, who's one of the evil characters. But really the story of this film is really what makes it work. It's an excellent epic motion picture, just the grand scale of it. It's a very ambitious taking for Peter Jackson to do this, and then followed by the next 2 films as well, because these 3 films are filmed in New Zealand and they were filmed all at the same time. So when you're watching this as a trilogy, this followed by the second 2, you really get a sense that everything links together very well, and it really feels like a complete set. And this film itself is fairly long. It's almost 3 hours long, but to be honest, it doesn't feel like it because the pacing is really excellent in this film. We're always interested in these characters, at least I was as well. I always found the characters really interesting, and we always get lots of interesting scenes in this film. There's quite a few good fight scenes, quite a few good action scenes, and even the dialogue in this film is very well done. Obviously, certain things would have to be cut out from the book in order to make it into a film because the book itself is very long. But I think Peter Jackson did an excellent job of turning the book into a movie, and this is a very watchable film. It's very enjoyable, and I've seen this film quite a few times. I do remember when it first came out. It wasn't really something I was particularly interested in. I remember getting it on VHS at the time, and I watched it, but I probably found it a bit too long at the time because I was only young. But it was really when The Two Towers and Return of the King came out that I became more interested in it, and I could really appreciate what an excellent film series it was. And especially with this one starting off the trilogy, it really just introduces us to these characters and makes us care about these different characters that are in the story, and makes us want to follow them on this epic journey, this epic quest that they are taking on. I must also mention the special effects in this film are also really excellent. We get so many exciting scenes. We get a scene with a cave troll, we get a scene with this creature known as the Balrog, and it all looks absolutely spectacular on screen. Obviously this film is getting on a little bit now. It's 19 years old at the time that I'm filming this, but still I think the special effects still look excellent. And interesting enough, there was also a trilogy of the Hobbit films, which is a prequel to this trilogy, and I actually think that some of the special effects in this trilogy actually look better than in the Hobbit trilogy for some reason, which is a bit strange. I think they might have overdone with the CGI in the Hobbit trilogy. But anyway, in this film, the special effects do look fantastic. And what I do really appreciate about this film is the use of lighting, because at the start of this film we're introduced to this area known as the Shire in Hobbiton, and it's all very brightly lit, it's all very green, and all looks very pleasant. And it's because at the start of the film things are going well, Frodo is very happy. But eventually what happens is he finds out he has to go on this epic quest and take the One Ring into Mordor, and then the lighting gets a bit darker. We get lots of darker scenes throughout this film as things turn more evil. What really does help this film is the score by the composer Howard Shore, because the music in this film is one of the best of all time in my opinion. It really is excellent. Just every little piece of music dotted throughout this film. We get that epic theme tune when the Fellowship of the Ring are walking across the mountains, and we get some excellent shots of them going on this journey, and it really does look absolutely spectacular on screen. And with the music by Howard Shore, really helps us get in the mood for the film and want to follow these characters on their journey. So as you can probably tell, I do really like this film. I think it is excellent. I think it's one of the best fantasy films of all time, and in fact the Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the best film trilogies of all time in my opinion, possibly the best film trilogy of all time, as some people have said. And I think this is a film that can be watched by everyone. Obviously there are a few violent bits in it, but to be honest, none of it is too gruesome. It's all, fairly tame compared to lots of other films. This is actually a PG, this film, whereas The Two Towers and Return of the King are actually 12s. And when this came out, I remember there were actually lots of kids that were into this film. Perhaps it was a bit of a geeky thing, but then again, it's a bit like Star Wars. I suppose this kind of film is always going to appeal to a certain group of people, and it's certainly not going to appeal to everyone. Not everyone is into this sort of fantasy epic type films. So if you're not into that sort of thing, then obviously you probably won't enjoy it. But if you are, this is one of the best fantasy films there is, and it is definitely worth a watch. So I'm going to give Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring a rating of 10 out of 10. I think it's a must-see, and even if it doesn't sound like your kind of thing, at least probably give it a try. Although do be warned, it is nearly 3 hours long, so yeah, it's not a short film. So there we go. So that is my review of The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. So what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know down in the comment section. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.